All right, we are live, and so I am just kicking off a quick live stream session to catch you guys all up in this pilot demo I've been working on. It's been a couple of weeks. I've shared the last bit of stuff before. My name is Nate from DigiFX LLC, and today we're going to be discussing some cool interactive kind of broadcast and e-commerce onboarding stuff with AI in my pilot demo DFX immersive agency platform I've created. So, long story short, we've been working the last couple of years to bring a lot of these immersive broadcasts into these environments, and I'm working on the web and in the web interface for everybody to experience. Now, I'm testing this new recording broadcast feature where I have two computers over my internet simulating kind of sharing on the showcase. So if I have some issues with recording, forgive me. I had some issues earlier. I've been trying to streamline the process. I may just not be able to do it on the internet that I'm working with, although this is supposed to be pretty fast home business internet, so that shouldn't be an issue. So behind me here, I'm just in my home studio. You can see the green screen, a bunch of other stuff for when we tap into the broadcast. But today we're going to be talking about the user experience. So to do so, I'm going to jump right into the web demo we have available, and we can take a look at it and see what that's all about. But first, let me just go ahead and bring a browser here and come down to the pilot and start here. So basically what I have in front of me here is a URL. It's digifx.com/pilot. If you go to my site, you can see this is just a quick link. And it is, I am testing this out, WebXR experience. So as I said, it needs some serious processing, and you should be in F11 for best broadcast experience. So we'll go ahead and just check it out that way, and I'll press F11 to confirm that it's in full screen. And we'll hopefully let this load for a second. Now it's going to take 10-15 seconds to load because I haven't separated the build into pieces. However, in the future, we will have a build manager that will propagate the user experience, ask the questions, and then facilitate the end results and point you in a new directory which will host your desired outcome or your desired digital environments, right? These branded themed environments we're creating. So once this pilot loads, it'll jump into a quick video session, and then yeah, for some reason on this browser, and I think it's my cache, we're having some issues with the cache there. So let's go ahead and just try, for the sake of it, a different browser and see if that fixes it. Okay, and we'll do the same thing. We'll just go full screen here and see if it's a browser issue. So as I was saying before, I have a quick demo splash video that onboards into a Mars environment, which showcases a lot of the technologies that I'm trying to build into this web presence. And really, that's just a way of onboarding really quickly into like a user experience that you get your hands on and play around with all this stuff. Ultimately, what we like to have happen is the onboarding experience create a diversity of questions to then guide you towards the set environments that we have set up, which I'll show you afterwards. And if we can do this right, there could be hundreds of thousands of environments that each get parsed and placed in the right directories based off of user interest and themes and environments, franchises, brands, companies, you name it. The important thing here is to make sure we get in full form. Okay, so this is just basically the UI splash to the pilot itself. The future pilot to onboard all of this will have a bigger menu system in which I'll build in. But just by going to start here, it brings us in this Mars environment, as you can see. And I'll talk a little bit about what's going on here, just so you get your head wrapped around this environment and what it really means. So first off, I can come down here, and you see I have this menu system I've created, this mini map, and the mini map is going to work just like the regular view is when you can walk into certain areas and it will give you a pop-up menu. It's important to note that the pop-up menu does lock out of controls of the mouse so that you can focus on the UI, and then when you back out of it, you can then control the user again. So there's something to note. All these little dots here represent questionnaire or survey kiosks that will ultimately define and filter out user locations or desired outcomes to the environments we're creating. So all I've done here was create a demo environment themed around Mars because the overall DFX theme is space themed, and I'm throwing it at Elon and Bezos and other space agencies and kind of what we can do with these cool technologies. It's just starting to where everybody's kind of thinking about the space stuff, but ultimately all this represents is an environment that will have the same features and tools within it. So let's talk a little bit about what those are. So like I said, these interactive kiosks are pretty straightforward. They're scattered around the environment. Now, they could be laid out like this. It could be a list form within a GUI. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to gamify the onboarding experience that will then tap into the machine learning and the ML, like the AI cloud resources, to then utilize this data that we're inputting. But to go up to them is pretty straightforward. I could just choose a location. This question asks, is your environment in an urban location? And I can say yes, I can click that, and you know it's actually been answered when it turns green from red. And you'll also note that all of these other ones are red as well. So I'll just go around. I'm not going to answer all of them. Do we want the climate to be cold or warm? I'll say we want a cold climate. And I'll say we want it in North America, and so on and so forth. So the questionnaire itself, again, is meant to design to really filter people into desired locations. And in the future, we will have a AI interactive chatbot actually interact with the user, whether it's VR, screen, controller from a game engine, or a console, I should say, to actually answer these. And it'll be more automated, but this is the way to tap into that. So to see which, to really see what we've done so far, we can go in here in the questions, and you can see these are the 3 questions we've answered out of all of them. And then in the next couple of weeks, I'll start filling out the quick jumps to environments like you see here, along with the rest of this menu system, which I've really held off till last while I've been figuring out this demo environment of Mars. So a few other things to talk about in this environment are some of the working components in this system right now. So we have our iPad system working here. Now, I don't have the menu system set up just yet. And what you see here is actually, it's actually a 3D object being funneled in from a cloud resource into the environment in real time, probably getting the 3D and the information. And then through our payment processing and our Google Maps deployment strategy that's built into this, we then can deploy these items to you in real time, which is pretty cool. Just by the click of the purchase button, and then it will use your desired location to make that happen. Now, we talked about immersive broadcasts. In this specific level, I have not built in the broadcast feature yet, but I'm going to show you in a second how that works and functions so you understand what I mean by the immersive onboarding into these broadcast experiences. But in short, there's 2 ways to receive a broadcast. You can either be the broadcastee, be the one behind the camera simulating yourself with depth cameras or using an avatar, or you can be a viewer where you have wearables, TVs, projection mapping, interactive kiosks that take that 3D representation and propagate it somewhere in real time that you can interact and engage it. And so there's money to be made from a broadcast perspective, and there's also, you can sell your merchandise within the immersive e-commerce stores. So this gateway right here, usually, if it was enabled, would take your pre-simulated results that is generated through the questionnaire and bring you to that level. Because I'm building out the pilot to be efficient in the web browser, I've disabled that, but I'm going to show you my other computer here how that works, and kind of the back ends of all this stuff happening. And so if I just walk around real quickly and some of these other things, I'm building in a crypto exchange here. We can have different money exchanges that will work there, along with, this can be like a supply shop, which, again, if I'm gamifying this to be some kind of like RPG style experience, we can figure out what that really is going to offer. But these are all just working components and user experience interfaces that I've come to attune to with a lot of the wearable stuff. So everything is movement and looking. Nothing is click, because in real life we don't really click on stuff. We kind of look at stuff and touch stuff. So by moving into it and by hovering over it, this is click, you're able to enable stuff. And again, by hovering over this or looking at it, you're able to bring up the map and do stuff like that. So it's pretty straightforward, and it should be really good to build out across the board in all different components. So that's just the working demo, and it's in a quick look. But what I want to do now is I actually want to tap into what we have going on in my computer over here to my left. And we should be able trying to tell you a second ago is that this plugin I'm using does my audio here, so I can't really talk there, which is kind of. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the back end and kind of an example of what it's going to look like when you funnel into a specific environment. So in the built version I have here that I'm building out to the web presence, you go to this, you drop into this Mars scene, right, from the title. And then you use the questionnaire, and it's going to filter out 3 storefronts. For demo purposes, I have a DFX and an Experience Over Media store and My Adventure store, 3 different themes. And each one of those storefronts has its own cinematic onboarding kind of experience. This is where this Future of Film project comes into play. And so when we go in the DFX store, you're going to see it play the promo for DFX, and then it's going to come into an environment that's like this in a DFX space atmosphere. And so the goal is to have one of those storefronts or environments for each result, and figuring out how to put those all in a working interface in XR on the web and standalone is what I'm working on now. So I'm going to switch over. I don't think I have audio here, but I'm just going to really quickly show you the flow of it, and you'll get a feel, and then I can come back and talk about it. But that's really what I want to showcase, is kind of where we're at with the pilot, what's happening, and where my steps are in terms of the technologies for anybody that's interested. So let's go ahead and do that. we go. All right, so there we go. So what I was getting at is what I was trying to show you was when you go into that portal, it gives you this like lobby, right, with like the 3 storefronts that your picks, and those come from results from the questionnaire, and then those will funnel you into the environments, which has the immersive broadcasting and the immersive e-commerce stuff. Now, one thing I didn't mention was broadcast stuff works. We tap into using depth cameras to then real-time stream people in these environments, or using avatars like you saw there. And when I get that set up, I will show that to you. It works just like anything else, like the iPass system, where you can funnel in stuff real time or load videos that are pre-recorded. And the only difference between a screen like you see in front of you here, the 3D object will be propagated in the environment that you can view through VR, or just be on a screen as a 3D dimensional entity. And so that's part of the immersive broadcasting that'll be filtered out through AI. But the goal is to be able to sell your merchandise and a lot of the iPass stuff there. So the key in the next couple of weeks for me in terms of designing a lot of these demo screen scenes is creating really light but interactive environments that replicate and represent the certain brand identities I'm talking about. So I have like some icy winter wonderlands, I have some desert kind of dry wastelands, and all of those will represent some kind of narrative and something else that we can bring in some products in there along with some characters to do that. And so there are some limitations in terms of the hardware catching up with a lot of the software and the latency, but for the most part, it should be good to go and showcase the methodology there. So let me see what else. I'm kind of like, it's kind of weird. I want to show you stuff, but the computer I want to show you stuff on, I don't have a mic too, so I have to talk about it over here and then bounce back over there. All because the broadcast software is still trying to catch up to the stuff I'm trying to do with it. But that's pretty much it for the pilot. We're getting the working pilot in place and then being able to deploy it to different that then you can use those for your viewing pleasure. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm going down to Miami and then tomorrow I'm going to Google I/O, the Miami branch. I'm gonna hang out there, see what Google's up to, some of their tech. And I have an event starting, an Ascent event with a lot of like-minded SaaS individuals. So after these events, I will be rolling out some more stuff to really showcase some that I'm building in this that I haven't used to build into the web presence, but I will also right now will be uniform and aligned in terms of authentication methodologies. I'm just working out the different technologies from mobile to web to console, along with some of the other core stuff we have built in. So it should be a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick session, and I'll leave it to you till next time, and I'll see you down in Florida tomorrow. Take care.